Tesla says it has invested more than $1 billion in Bitcoin and will accept the digital currency as payment for its electric vehicles. Now, Tesla says it expects to begin accepting Bitcoin as payment for its high-end cars in the near future. The digital currency jumped more than 14% on the news, reaching an all-time high of more than $44,000 for one Bitcoin. Okay, now the idea of an alternate currency is confusing to many of us, including me, so we've asked Michael Llewellyn, a CEO of Tarski Technology and also an expert on blockchain development and strategy, to talk to us today to shed some light on all of this. Mr. Llewellyn, thank you so much for joining us. Explain to us, what is Bitcoin and how does it compare to our typical, dollars and cents currency?
Thank you for having me on. So, put simply, Bitcoin is an alternative to the current financial system that we have. And the reason it's important is that currently our financial system, while it has, we can use bank accounts and PayPal and other things to make payments online, it was built for a world that didn't have technology, that was typically based on people making payments with cash in person or through a financial institution. And so that works well most of the time, but the problem is that if I always need a third party to transact with someone online, I'm not really free to do so independently. I don't really control my money. PayPal or a bank or some other institution controls it for me. So the idea of Bitcoin is to say no one controls Bitcoin. No one controls the Bitcoin you own, and therefore you have complete autonomy to spend Bitcoin however you wish, and also to have a guarantee that the supply is fixed. There won't be more Bitcoins created than are planned, and you don't have to worry about your money being inflated away. So it's a way to trust, really more of the internet than to trust any single one person or company.
Okay, well, that is a lot of trust, because one thing, I feel like I have trust in our government. There's debate whether that's misplaced, I'm sure, from some folks or not. But I have faith in that, though, that's some stability with our currency. How risky is Bitcoin? Because, it can fluctuate. We just saw with the Tesla news that it's fluctuated a lot. So the average Joe getting into this, what does it mean for them?
Absolutely. So I think it's definitely an asset that you can look at kind of like gold, because gold is also an asset that is independent of the financial system, but the price can fluctuate depending on how people feel about it. And the main reason that people like gold as an investment is it has a fixed supply. You can't create more gold than currently exists in the world. You can only mine it at a certain rate. So unless you can simulate a supernova and create more gold, you're not going to. And Bitcoin works the same way, except instead of using chemistry, it uses math and cryptography, which is just basically computer science methods to make it impossible to print more than ever should be printed. So in that way, it's a store of value, because you know that you're not going to have too many Bitcoins increasing the number and therefore decreasing their value. So while the price might fluctuate over time, we've actually seen that over the last 10 years, Bitcoin's value has steadily risen, and that it seems to be a good store of value long term, even if day to day it seems to be very volatile.
So it sounds like you're thinking this is in for the long haul. Do you anticipate more businesses jumping in after the Tesla news?
Absolutely. So Tesla is just one of many. We've seen a lot of institutions jumping in. MicroStrategy is a company that was actually jumping in before Tesla, and we're hearing rumors of other large companies doing the same. And I think this is respective of companies, trying to find places to find returns on the cash that they have. And so, interest rates are very low right now. Bonds don't yield very much. Stocks can also be very volatile and sometimes difficult to value. Bitcoin's just one alternative that companies are looking at, and it's an alternative that gives them full control of those funds. They can move those Bitcoins wherever they wish, and they're not restricted by a bank or financial institution. So for them, it's a way to hedge their bets. And I'm sure most companies aren't going to be using only Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency anytime soon, but I think they see it as something that definitely helps them protect their investors against risk.
Oh, recently in the news was the story of the guy that forgot his password to his Bitcoin and ended up losing all of it. So I guess my question to you is, what advice do you have for folks who are thinking about getting into the world of Bitcoin?
I would say definitely educate yourselves first. Look online and find some resources to learn it. Set up a wallet, though. Play with it. figure out how to access Bitcoin, purchase a little bit just to get started. Don't put your life savings into Bitcoin or pension funds or anything like that, but, put in a little bit just to find out and figure out how it works. Send a friend some Bitcoin, $5 worth of Bitcoin or something that teaches you how it works. And eventually, a lot of people I've learned, like I've had 70-year-old clients that come to me and are interested in Bitcoin, and a year later they are, very adept at using it and sending transactions back and forth. So it's really, it's a technology that feels new, but like every new technology, you adjust to it, and the technology itself becomes easier to use. And there's a lot of people out there trying to improve Bitcoin for everyday use.
Okay, you talked about $5 for Bitcoin, but I just read that, I just reported on the news that one Bitcoin is now $44,000. How can you just put $5 in?
So basically, Bitcoin is infinitely divisible. So I can send you 0.000001 Bitcoin. And so Bitcoin could go up infinitely, continue to go up 100K, 500K. We can still send small increments of Bitcoin to make specific purchases. So even though that value of one Bitcoin could be very high, you can divide it ad infinitum as you see fit.
Okay, You've answered a lot of questions. You've helped us a lot, but that last question has me a little confused. But I tell you what, we may pick this up at another time. Michael Llewellyn with Tarski Technology, thank you so much for joining us and answering a couple of questions there about Bitcoin. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to the next one.
Thank you.